We are going to be starting with our first event of the day. We are going to be hearing from Philip Shane and Joshua Reinstein about the Myst Documentary, and I know we're all excited to hear about how that's going. So I'll pass it over to Philip and let him take it away.
Thank you so much, and thank you Mysterium for having us as always, and thank you everyone who's helping put this together for us. Thank you for the round of applause. It's nice to hear. Been doing this for a while, and just before I forget, I'll come back to it at the end, but if you want to find out more about the documentary, or find out even how you can still sign up to join the project and get rewards, Katie will talk about that a little bit later. You can go to themystdocumentary.com. It's just spelled out. And there's a link at the top there to go to Fangamer, and you click that. That'll take you to basically the continuation of our Kickstarter. This is a fun website. I'm just going to give a shout out to Alana Bogdan, who's out there somewhere today. And you can, it's like, what I asked is if we could have a video camera. It's as if I went onto Myst Island to make the documentary with my video camera. What would that look like? And so she made this video camera. And you can move the camera like that. And if you click the zoom button, it zooms in. And I don't know if you can see, but there's an Easter egg in Dunny written on the marker switch there. So I encourage you to go find out what it is. This, for those of you who don't know, so I started this project actually quite a while ago in 2016. So I played Myst in 1993 when it came out and was sucked into it, and my brain has never left Myst Island, as I know is true for most of you here as well. And there was a behind-the-scenes video on that CD-ROM, and I was so blown away by, just the idea that these guys, this small team, had made this basically at home using a computer, not unlike the computer I was using to play the game. It kind of blew me away. And I said, I'd love to meet those guys someday. Well, 2016, many years later, I discovered that they were coming to speak at a conference in Brooklyn, where I live. And I was like, I got to go to that. So I went to it. I got up the nerve to go talk to them. And I talked to them, and it turned out they had heard about some of the documentaries I had actually made in the past, including one called Being Elmo. It was very popular. And I've made other documentaries about Einstein for the History Channel and many more. And it came out of my mouth. I literally didn't go there with this thought. It just came out of my mouth. Has anyone made a documentary about you? And they said, because I just wanted to see it. And they said, no. And then I was just like, I just heard it coming, like it's leaving my mouth. Could I make a documentary about you? And they were like, really? And that was a yes to me. And I was like, yeah, really? Like, you're saying yes? And they were like, really? Yes. Amazing. And they said, by the way, we are just about to wrap and release a new game. Would you be interested in filming us doing that? And I was like, yes. And that was Abduction. And so I grabbed my cinematographer, and we flew out to Spokane right away. It was the summer of 2016, and filmed them doing that and started. 4 years later, I had gotten enough footage to have the confidence to know that this was definitely going to be a major feature documentary, the kind I make. And so we did a Kickstarter. And please stand up if you are a Kickstarter backer. I would like to think, oh my God. Thank you. Please applaud them. Yes. Thank you. And thank every one of you. Katie, you'll be on coming in by Zoom in a little bit, and we'll talk about more. If you have not submitted your stories, if you're at the particular level where you can submit your stories to the Community Story Vault, that would be great. But I just want to, seriously, sincerely, I thank every single one of you for your support. And I know it's been a long road, and we're still on the road. But we have some snacks, and we will get there. As my dad used to say, just be quiet. No, we're not stopping at the next rest stop. So I want to get moving on. We're going to show you some things. What I decided to do was, those of you, I don't know if you've been following the updates of the Kickstarter, but I was really hoping to do the normal thing, which is just get all the footage in the can, as we say, and then do the editing. But I could see that I still need to do some more fundraising so I can shoot the interviews in a beautiful cinematic way that I want to do. and with Rand and Robin and other people, of course. So there's a round of interviews to do. And then you'll also see, we're going to show you some rough scenes that Joshua has edited. And you'll see occasionally it'll just say animation. And that's another element that I'm looking for. I've been talking to animators, some of the best animators in the business, hoping we can, again, raise the money just to get that slotted in. But that's what we'll have. So there'll be interviews, there'll be animation. So I want to get right to it. In a bit, we're going to meet Katie Postma. As many of you know her. She's been our community coordinator for a long time. And also Ben Reichman, a new team member who's helping us out with the editing. And he's got some really fun stuff he's been working on. So he's going to show us. Okay, let's get right to it. Joshua, turn on your mic. There we go.
Hello. Oh,
Puzzle solved.
puzzle solved. Hello, everybody. If you don't know who I am Joshua Reinstein, and I'm the editor, researcher, archivist, and producer of the Myst Documentary. I first got involved in this project about 5 years ago. I played Myst in college, and I was just swept into this world, this amazing, surreal puzzle adventure. It hooked me right away. And when I found out that there was a documentary being made about it, I actually found it out through the Kickstarter page that Philip mentioned previously. And I was really interested in getting in touch with him and finding some way that I could get involved in this project because it really meant a lot to me. And Philip was very gracious to have me on board, and I'm still eternally grateful for that. I
didn't know he was so tall, because we met on Zoom.
I thought you'd be taller.
There's a joke from The Office in there, which I want.
So we've got some really cool highlights from the project for you. And this first one is very... when you think about Rand Miller, right, you think he's the kind of person who... he's very personable, he's very friendly and polite, but you don't think of him as a person who could speak in front of 1 million people. And now, when you compare that to someone like Steve Jobs, who does that, used to do that frequently all the time, and you think, how could these two possibly interact with each other? And this is kind of what that's about. This is about Rand getting to meet Steve Jobs for the first time, and pay attention to how he conducts himself throughout the presentation, because I think it's really cool.
Yeah.
That's a bingo.
No, I'm sharing too. Yeah.
We had just finished with.
That's coming out of my computer, man. I could hold the microphone up there.
Didn't change anything when we set up the Zoom, did we?
Well, while they do that, one thing I can tell you is a lot of where this stuff is coming from. We have two main sources of footage. So we have all the footage I've shot, which is like, I don't even know how many hours at this point.
It's a lot.
Since 2016, a lot of what we call cinema verite or observational footage, slice of life footage. And so we have a ton of that. And then we also have a ton of archival footage, old things like this, that Joshua has spent actually a lot of time since he's been on the project, scouring the web and we've gathered a lot of that. Then we have the Video Game History Foundation. For those of you who may remember, what's amazing is that the documentary was sort of involved in this crazy discovery of a huge amount of footage that had been sort of, I won't say lost, but was just unknown. I put out an update, I forget what it was, a few years ago. I had gone with Rand into the vault at Cyan, and which is a funny thing. At Cyan headquarters, you go into the elevator, and there's looks like 50 stories down. They say, okay, we're taking you all the way, and they're all in Dundee numbers, right? And then you get to the bottom, and you come out, and you really have only gone, you basically went down half a flight of stairs. But you go into the vault, which is just a closet. But it's full of banker boxes and things like that, but also full of videotapes. And I was filming Rand right then in that moment, and I said, what is this, what are these tapes? And he's like, I don't really know. I think they are from Riven. And, okay. Oh, sorry. And we posted that update out, and it turned out that one of our backers is the librarian of the Video Game History Foundation. And he called me and he said, would you like some help? Because that would cost tens of thousands of dollars to digitize all those, to even just watch and screen and then digitize all those tapes and get them into our system. He's like, would you like some help with that? We can cover that. And I was like, amazing. And they went and they did it. It took a long time, probably took about a year.
Yeah.
But they've since done that. So, okay, back to Steve Jobs and Rand Miller cage match.
Laptop's at full volume. Oh, did someone mute the projector?
So they're pointing out that in the upper right corner of the screen, there's a mute button. There's a mute symbol. Okay. Well, that's going. Let me see if we can go to Katie and stuff.
Try moving the slider.
Let's talk to you.
Oh, wow.
You said you talked. You knocked one of the signs down because you talked so loud.
The power of sound.
Katie, tell us about your involvement in the project.
My goodness.
Or what would you like people to know?
So I met you in 2018. You had been doing the project for 2 years, and you explained your, I won't say who I am. If anybody doesn't know who I am, DM me later, because I think most of you know who I am. But we met when I think I was working with Chuck on Zed, and we met in the Zed booth, and Rand and a few guys from Cyan were there showing Firmament in a different spot, but we all met in the Zed booth, and they introduced me to you. I was like, oh, I heard about this because I was watching Mysterium last year when you were talking about it. And so I said, keep in touch, because if you need any help, I'm available to help. And sure enough, a year later, at the Cyan Mysterium, we put our heads together about the best way to fundraise and kickstart. And then we did the impossible, which is run a ton of meetings and Kickstarter through the pandemic, like smack dab in the pandemic. We kicked it off during Mysterium, which was also crazy because we didn't know if anybody would even know what was going on, but it worked out great. And as you can see by the people who stood up, we had tons and tons of support and love. Um, and yeah, even though you see the occasional naysayer comment on the Kickstarter, I mean, 99.9% of people are still supportive, still, show up for these updates to see that, yeah, progress is being made, not as quickly as you would like, I know, but it is being done. I think you've got a lot more work done than you even admit to yourself sometimes. And we're going to all see it. I can't wait for that day. But yeah, so my involvement was really just doing anything and everything I could to make that Kickstarter a success, which it was, and to continue helping with the search for more funding and VC. Sorry, there's a little Myst fan at my door. One sec. Hello. Can you say hello to
Oh my
Mysterium?
goodness.
Hello. This is the newest Myst fan. We're a 4 generation of family of Myst fans, so this is one of the newer ones. Anyway, so like Philip said, if you go to the Myst documentary or the Myst.com, there's a fan gamer link, and you can still continue to back the Myst documentary if you back at a level higher than planetarium or above. You can one of yeah.
Free today.
Is it Austin's birthday? Okay. You can be part of something called Your Myst Story, where you can put your own Myst story, including journal entries, videos, photos and images, drawings, sketches, and even audio files into a journal in the library in the vault. And that vault is at themystdocumentary.com. So
Raise your
Yeah.
hand. Raise your hand if you have done that. Has anyone here? Oh, right. Fantastic. Thank you.
yeah, so
Thank you all.
everybody who backed at the planetarium or above who has not submitted your vault, your Myst story to the vault yet, you should get on that, because there's a lot of beautiful stories there, and it's viewable by anyone. So any of you can go to the vault and the library and read and view all the stories there.
Yeah, the vault is amazing. Excellent. Thank you, Katie.
Yeah.
Ben. So Ben is our newest member of our team, and aside from Katie's little friend here, Ben, tell us about, how did you find out about us? You're on. We just started talking on our Discord, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a lifelong Myst fan. I joined the Kickstarter. I haven't submitted my story yet, but I will. And one day I was, reading the Kickstarter backer updates, and I thought, well, I'm an assistant editor and junior editor, public television documentaries and so on, and educational media. Maybe I could be helpful. And so I reached out to Philip and was like, can I log some footage? And my real reason is that I wanted to see the footage. That was really why I volunteered. Like, oh, I really want to see what's going to go into this film. So I just joined. I'm delighted to be here.
Yeah. And
Ben-
tell him what Ben is going to be doing.
Yeah, so Ben has been an amazing help to me so far. We've been meeting semi-regularly, and we've been going over all the footage from the Video Game History Foundation, which there's a lot. There's many, many hours of behind-the-scenes footage of Uru and Riven and Myst.
I think it's a 1.5 terabytes.
1.5 terabytes.
Yeah.
So you heard it here first.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
And he has been highlighting, categorizing all of these really interesting moments from those behind-the-scenes footage. And one of the things that he found that was particularly interesting was a behind-the-scenes recording of Rand doing the original lines for Atris when he's working on Myst. They recorded all these lines separately, but Rand in the recording booth, I suppose he was bored one day or something, and he decided to start ad-libbing things. And maybe, Ben, if you would like to talk a little about what he said.
That's not Mel Gibson. That's Rand.
That's not Mel Gibson.
Yeah, he was in the booth, and it was the I think it's fair to say that I don't need to say spoiler alert about the end of Myst. But it's the ending where you go to Kavir without the white page. And Atris says, where's the white page? So in this version, it's, you brought the burgers. Great. And the fries. But what about the donuts? What about the donuts, my friend? You fool. And so there's just a lot of little funny moments like that throughout.
The thing I love about that is you can kind of hear Robin's voice in the background, and he's saying something like, I wanted my fries on the side.
Here, let's show. I'll show him the stills from the Robin thing.
Okay.
Here's another fun scene, which is still in progress. It's not ready to be shown yet, but I have we have some stills of a scene that Josh was working on. So you want to tell him what's happening?
So this is Robin at his house showing us some of the old Riven maps that they drew. This is back when Riven was first in development. Hadn't even been programmed yet, or the script hadn't been written or anything. They were just planning out the story of how the world was going to open up to the player.
Yeah.
So these maps symbolize the journey that they had gone from Myst, because they literally wrote, they drew all these maps on the Myst map, and they have planned out every single
Yeah, let's just make that
age.
clear that literally on the other side of this poster, right, is a map of Myst Island.
Yeah.
And he has used it to draw a new map. Was that right? No, this is a Riven map.
This is Riven's map.
Okay, I'm sorry.
They were planning it out right
Yeah.
after Myst.
Yeah.
And they sort of knew where the story was going to go. They knew the direction of the story after Myst.
Yeah.
But they hadn't done any programming yet. So this was just the earliest draft of those things. And so you can see Robin's pointing out here that originally they had the island that you remember in the crater, the village. They had that on a different section of the map, but then they moved it into the crater.
Yeah.
And that was the thing eventually that you see in the game. You see this abandoned village inside of the crater.
An interesting thing that, again, I'm not sure if it's in the scene at the moment, but what Robin talks about is that, first of all, some of you will have seen this as we had released it once as like a little 30-second snippet. But this is, in some of these other things, you might say, oh, I've seen that before. No, this is like, these are 10-minute scenes, 5 to 10-minute scenes, and where we really get to hear them speaking at length. And Robin talks about how, and I've spoken to Rand a lot about this too, how the interesting thing about Riven was that essentially it is all the entire environment is meant to be a portrait of a character, right? It's again externalized. So no matter what you ran into on the path, no matter how big or how small, it would have to somehow evoke Gen or the Rivenese.
Yeah. His exact words were that they needed the environment to embody a person, aka they needed everything from the construction of the Dunny villages to the way that everything looks to the area around, to symbolize that this is a portrait of a man who built all this and is he's lording over it.
Yeah. And I just happen to know also that was something that I think Robin and Rand probably knew that before from storytelling, but that Richard van der Wen brought, having come from Disney as a Disney animator, brought to the project, and yet another reason why Riven is so extraordinary looking. So then we also have among the treasures in the History Foundation stuff that was found on the floor of the vault is this gem. So what are we looking at here?
Yeah, so this is from the early development meeting of Myst. Rand and Robin are sitting in their office together, and they're planning out one of the puzzles that would go into the game. And you can see Robin's drawing on his notepad. These are the original notepads that he had drawn the Myst
Just legal
maps on.
pads. Yeah.
Just legal pads that they had lying around. And they sat there and sketched all of this out. And they talked to each other about the puzzle, and they're kind of like going back and forth with each other and arguing a little bit.
Yeah.
And
is there more? So basically, this, and again, you have probably seen this image or a very similar image to it elsewhere. You may have even seen a tiny little snippet of it, which I think is in the behind the scenes.
It's in the behind the scenes of Myst.
Video.
But you've never heard it with audio before.
And the actual scene is like 20 minutes of them.
Yeah, it's
sitting there.
literally 20
minutes. And so
minutes.
as the scene goes along, and Joshua is working on editing it in a very entertaining way, where essentially you're looking at this, and you see them talking, and we should do that. Oh, maybe there should be different colors in the puzzle, or maybe it should be this, whatever. And then it just jump cuts to Rand on the floor, and Robin, with his hands on his head, and there's I don't know, maybe this thing. And then finally Rand is like, it cuts again, and Rand is just completely laying on the ground, and Robin says, "I quit."
And that's where it ends.
Yeah, very funny. So we got that kind of stuff. How are we doing over there? Are we still... Oh, I didn't know you guys were ready to try. Let's rock it.
So should we play Mysterium? Or
We'll rant.
okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, you saying time-wise?
Well, do we have enough time for it?
Yeah. Okay.
We can just play.
Here we go. Rand and Steve
Jobs.
Fingers crossed.
We had just finished Riven. Then all of a sudden, I was contacted out of the blue by Steve Jobs, who asked me if I could do
a keynote for the DVD version of Riven.
I honestly was shocked. It made me curious.
Just because it was Steve.
It just felt like a whole different level.
Welcome to Macworld Expo 98.
We've made a lot of progress in the last 6 months, and I'd like to give you some updates, tell you about some new stuff, and then we got some fun stuff to demo for you, if that's okay. So let's start off.
It was fun because if you've been to the keynotes, you know that there's usually a lot of practical stuff that people have to pitch, and this was more of him doing his practical stuff, and then I got to end it with the Myst stuff.
Lastly, today, Riven. You know, I guess some of the prior management didn't like games. We are dedicated to get some great games back on the Mac, and we are working on that very hard, and I think we're starting to see some great results. And it's my great pleasure today to welcome Rand Miller on stage, the creator of Riven.
It's most people I've ever talked in front of, but it was fun and interesting.
Thank you. I got to start this off by telling you guys I feel a little out of place here for a couple reasons. First off, I usually sit home in Spokane, Washington in the snow with my family, and I don't speak to like groups of 10 million people. So if you guys will just consider this like a chat, it'll kind of help me. The naked thing doesn't work for me, so just have a little chat from me. It's actually pretty appropriate that I'm here, aside from the fact that I don't usually do this, because, well, let me start a little Riven walkthrough and I'll explain why. With things like the Mac itself, things like HyperCard and even CD-ROM stuff, QuickTime, those things have been the tools that enabled us to build worlds. Now that Apple has announced support for DVD, we've got additional tools to build our worlds even better. Excited about the tools we get from Apple and from the people who support Apple. As long as we get those tools, we'll continue to provide you bigger, better, more immersive worlds to make you much less productive. Thank you.
Steve was good at reading the crowd, and you could tell that by the end it had loosened things up a lot, and his demeanor changed a bit, like, oh, that went well.
Thank you, Rand.
He was probably surprised that many people in the audience knew Mr. Riven. There was a lot of applause and cheering. And Steve was so nice. Like, we chatted afterwards, and it was really awesome. I feel privileged to have actually gotten to chat with him. Smart guy. Wow.
Thank you. And thank you so much for the audience participation. That was awesome. I saw you in the back.
And I don't know if you guys know how hard Joshua worked on that scene. And we have more scenes to show too. But, months, right? I mean, it takes months to cut these scenes. So it's a lot of work because there's a lot of... It's very complicated, and there's also an enormous amount of footage. One thing I can add is one of the reasons why you saw some sections there where just an animation, you just hear voices, and the voice is a little rough, a little choppy. I did the normal process of shooting, making a documentary. I will talk to people informally ahead of time. So one of the reasons I say, I haven't shot the interviews, because, I want to get to know as much as possible what are the stories, what are the things that people remember. And I get all those stories, and I boil them down just using rough audio. And now I know, okay, this is a good scene, so that when I go to interview them with spending many, many, many thousands of dollars, a day, I know what stories just ask them to tell. So I use just a little Zoom recorder, the H4n, if you're familiar with those, a little audio thing. And I'm just doing that informally. That's never intended to be part of the film. But when a lot of there's some new audio capability, audio cleanup software that has come out that's like mind-blowing and actually is able to turn some of that stuff into professional quality audio, it means I suddenly have, I don't even know, like another 60 hours of audio of interview that I didn't know I had in the first place. So we work with that, but it's a lot of material to go through. All right, let me throw this next one. You got a quick setup for this?
Yeah. So this is something that Philip shot at Geek Girl Con in 2018. And did anybody go to Geek Girl Con? Raise your hand if you've been to Geek Girl Con before.
All right. Yeah. It is a profound experience. Honestly, it was really beautiful. Very different.
And raise your hand if any of you have played Unwritten, the RPG.
All right.
Yeah. We got a few Unwritten players in here. So this is a clip of Rand trying out Unwritten for the first time at Geek Girl Con.
With some of the creators.
Yeah, and the creators are there too.
Okay. I think we're going down to play some more games. I'm going to beat everybody at this game.
Somebody's got to tweet this.
Because if it's like Angry Birds, I'm going to win. Yeah. I heard it was like Angry Birds.
We'll totally throw in some Angry Birds.
Hey, Rand.
How you doing? Good to see you. This looks like a fun place. You played full games of it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
So we got a couple different pre-made characters with most of it filled out. You'll get a little bit of chance to add some touches here and there. Let me list all of them out and fight over them. We have an unflappable crisis manager. We have an old school techno biz.
Oh, that's me.
Now, this is a short game, but usually you have up to 4 aspects.
Any other things before we actually start? Okay. So, you see that there is a huge crevasse in the ground. Like, about probably a good 15, 20 feet deep. Just like, suddenly, like the ground had opened up like that. But someone has carved rooms into the walls. We have dug out rooms into the walls. There's some old like rope ladders. There's a rope bridge.
I want to walk across that rope bridge.
You want to walk across the rope bridge? Okay, you walk across to the other side.
What?
See, I know what you were thinking. There is some sort of machine. Gigantic machine of lights that you've never seen before. It's got...
I'm the right guy for this job. I'm at those controls. Let's get this thing going.
Discovery roll then. You get some questions generated here.
All right. Boy, that's not great. Anybody else want to try and fix that thing?
You're fiddling. You turn that on. You gotta.
I want to turn that on.
So yeah, it starts sparking and creating.
Oh crap!
So make an athletics roll.
An athletics roll.
Oh, that's ominous. Right? That's ominous right there.
Oh, I don't like that.
Woo! How fast do you jump away?
Yeah. Okay, that's the next one.
Oh my god!
Oh, that thing ain't working.
Well,
okay. Here's what I propose. Seriously, what I just said. I think we figure out if this thing's going to turn on whatever that fan is, and we all gather around this book. And if that fan comes on, it looks like it could be a mighty big fan. We may not want to be here. I don't know. And then we can get out using that book if we look like we're in danger.
I don't want to get in the middle because that takes an athletics check and it's dangerous. And I am going to
fall
in those fan blades.
That's true. I was saying this is exactly what we do with the games. I mean, we've talked, but we play people through them like this before we actually build them. Yeah. It's cool. I love doing this.
and thank you very much. This is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's great.
Not very often, you can say here's the game based on all the things you made.
That's fun. That was great. Yeah, nice getting to know you guys, exploring other worlds with you.
Yes. Yeah, likewise.
Yeah, it's a shame I couldn't use my real Dunny knowledge to help you. We could have done this in about a quarter of the time. Oh, that was cool. All right. Thanks, V. Yeah. All right. See you guys. Or not. Oh, please. Nice game mastering. Yeah. Really fun.
All right. All right.
All right. Thank you very much. And shout out to Ellery and Gene, who are both featured in this clip, if you're out there somewhere.
Was anyone here who was in that scene? No. Okay. If you're online, yeah, say hey.
If you're online, then...
All right, for our last clip, do you have any intro for the people?
Yeah, so this is, might be familiar to some of you. Mysterium, back in 2019, seems like so long ago, Rand was...
That was the before times.
The before times, when Rand invited everybody over to Cyan headquarters, and we basically take you through the day. They get to Mysterium, and Rand is signing autographs. And I think the thing that stuck out to me the most about watching this scene was how fun he's having, and how much fun everyone else is having, interacting with him and getting to meet each other. And Rand talks at length about how he's just as humbled to be here as they are. And I think that's really cool, and really a big part of what makes the Myst fan community as great as it is, because everybody's so supportive and welcoming.
Yeah, and you also get to see a couple people you don't usually see on camera. Rawa is there.
Yeah, Rawa's going to be there.
Signing autographs. And Chuck
Carter.
Chuck Carter's there.
And maybe a few other people,
Yeah, and
too.
if you are there, if you come up on the screen, just give a big Atlanta, what do you say in Atlanta? Hoot?
Just give like a hoot.
A hoot?
Yeah, a hoot and holler.
Holler.
A big hootenanny.
The Lilac City. Who knew that? There's Myst Island in the middle, I'm convinced. Robin claims that this has no connection to Myst. His city.
I don't know where that is.
I know how to get inside that tree. That's a cool shot. Yeah, how is this?
Oh, this is gonna be good.
Oh, what is it?
All right, folks, we're ready. Let's have you guys go ahead and funnel down my left side. This is the side.
Hey.
I know that face.
Parker.
What's up, Parker?
Part of the culture. It's amazing.
That'd be fun to have his signature. I'm just going to go anywhere in particular. I mean,
No,
right.
you very much right.
Just small enough where we can.
I trust you.
All right.
I'm friends with Jack Wall. We went to high school together. And we got into a conversation. He said, I got into this music because of Myst. So I wanted to thank all you for
It's like
producing this.
overwhelming, you know. Like,
It made a big, it made an
so cool.
amazing difference.
Thank you
very
so much. And you know, when we get the Myst babies or whatever they are, it's so cool because we get like there's young people who are too young and they're like, hey, I played Myst. Like, no, Wait, no. Inevitably, it's like, no, my mom or dad played and I was there, and then they said it was cool. And
Well, he would solve a lot of the problems, a lot of the puzzles for me, because I'd be like,
It's like I have memories of clicking around as a kid, not knowing what I was doing. Revisit it again a little bit older to understand it. It's kind of like as I got older, I grew with it.
Yeah,
And it was
yeah.
very transformational.
thank
That's
you
awesome.
very much.
Thank you. Thanks for the kind
And
words.
thanks for allowing us all in.
Yeah, well, every few years we
Apparently
feel
at
we
2
can
o'clock
open the
we release
doors.
the hounds and we all, but that's fine. We know at 2 o'clock.
We turn up the heat.
Thank you.
Ah, my friend, you've returned. And the memes. Did you bring the memes?
Oh my God,
How's that?
that just went viral.
Instant atris. Boom, like that. Holy cow.
Worth it.
Wow. That is too cool.
Thanks.
Hold on, let me get a picture of you with it. Hold on. Boom, boom, boom. Here we go. And 1, 2, 3. Nice. Oh, that's perfect.
So I have Chuck and your brother's signature, and I was hoping to get yours as well.
Awesome. This is awesome. This is gold stuff. These are probably the most fun things, these notebooks. Raul, you going there? Yeah, you need there, dude. That's people who worked on Myst. You got to have Raul on the Myst group. Chuck's the one who needs to sign. These are all. This is so Chuck. This is me and Chuck. And Chuck right here.
That is.
Probably was Raul.
Yeah, Raul did all the programming.
Yeah, he did all the programming.
He came up with most of the idea, I think. I stole it liberally from Robin's artwork. Take your hand.
Awesome, dude.
I think it's wonderful. They have this thing to create a community around, and seemingly having a lot of fun with it. So it's a lot of fun to watch, and still amazed that it even exists.
Whoa.
Hey, what?
Come over here, man.
Hey, Chuck.
Doing great.
Been a while.
Focus. Excellent. Thank you.
Awesome.
Ran high five.
You're leaving?
No, I'm checking out the line. Hey, high five. Get it while you can. I'm checking out the line. You guys are awesome for waiting. You're crazy, but you're awesome for waiting in this line. Boom, fist bump. You guys are crazy. Oh no, in the sun. Oh, I feel so bad. You guys.
Like I'm letting you get away with that.
Oh my gosh. Thank you guys so much for not just for being here, but for the support. I mean, you guys do this for us. We couldn't keep going. We're this little company that could, but it's because of you. Honestly, I mean, when you're a game company and you're small and you're indie and you don't have you got to be scrappy. You're just like, well, let's make a game, and you get people and you make a game. Every time we do this, it's just amazing. You guys really come through. Thank you.
Thank
All right.
you very much.
Thank you very much.
There was one shot where there was like
So
there was a rift in time.
We should talk about this.
There was a rift in time, and some people from the 2023 Mysterium suddenly appeared out of the Alpha Omega bus. But other than that, it was a great scene.
You in the chat, you caught us.
Thank you. Thank you
for that.
All right, so going to Zoom. It's okay to go to Zoom. Yeah. Nicely
Do we have them
done.
on the screen?
Ben, give us a quick, I think we still got time. We do have 15 minutes left? I think so. What's that?
They're not on the screen.
We have 6 minutes. Ben, just give us just like a couple minutes of shots. And we're waiting. Hang on a second. We're just waiting for you to get on the screen. Okay. And do we have sound? Hang on, Ben. We're waiting for sound. Stand by. What? All right, Ben, you want to say something? That timer is still open. So yeah. All right, hang on.
Doc, someone's messing with time again.
Hang on, Ben. We can't hear you. We can't hear you, Ben. Stand by.
Don't worry, Marty. We're closing the rift.
Any questions while this is happening? Oh. Ben, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
You're sharing reveal. Okay, so if you give us a 2-minute view.
Yeah, I'll give you the quick version. I just want to acknowledge the late Ron Hayter, who I know was a valued member of this community, and he made this app that allows you to go into the game files. So Joshua asked me to find certain things. What I thought was most interesting were the oddities. Here you see the translation of everyone's favorite Myst puzzle, some of those. What is this blurry blob? It shows the attention to detail as I step through. This is the fireplace button, right? You see, this is how the clock tower actually works under the hood. This is Myst Masterpiece Edition, by the way. Every version from every angle has to be shown. I think it's just fascinating. You can see here the translations jumping ahead to this blurry mess. Again, it's fascinating to see the low-res stuff. What is this? Well, if you remember the retractable walkways in Riven in the submarine ride, every single one has to have different states, but they're such a small part of the screen. Artists had to painstakingly create these incredibly tiny views of the walkways retracted or not. I thought that was kind of fun. And then the most important object in Riven in many ways, actually, under the hood, this is what fire marbles look like. This is the sprite sheet for the fire marbles. Moving ahead, here's the aquarium at Cyan headquarters. This is the Uru process, at least a demo of the process of creating the avatars. So you can step through and see the artist process. We've got a lot more of this, but I'm just showing a few screenshots. Here's a look under the hood at the bug reporting. So apparently on September 20th, 2003, the Barrows needed more love, some final love. I just love seeing these interesting little details. Here's how complex the project could be. Here's the chart of fixed and new bugs, moving averages. This is just a console view as they were developing, just to see under the hood to get this whole thing to work, you know? Here's a mocap session. He's just stretching, and now he's doing actual motion capture for the game. This is the Friends of Saranka Maasai music and dance troupe that contributed heavily to the Uru soundtrack. Here they are in the studio listening to the playback after they've performed. This is... oh, sorry, I'm moving. I'm sorry, I should explain. Right here, starting about here, I'm moving out of the game to Video Game History Foundation. Yeah, sorry, I try not to take up too much time, but then I forget the details. So motion cap, and this is the Maasai song and music and dance troupe. This is actually the recording session for the gallery theme in Kadish's gallery. Here is the recording session for Airstream, that iconic cue that plays when you see Zandy at the Airstream trailer in Uru. And these are full scenes. Like, you can hear her sing and see him lay in different guitar tracks. Very satisfying. I was surprised how many physical models they made. So you may recognize that, but it looks a bit different in the game. Here's another view exploring in a physical way what they were going to build digitally. This is an extraordinary scene where Rand, Eric, and a lot of the team members walk from Cyan headquarters to a coffee stand. They tell Trista here at the coffee stand, "You're 300 feet from the center of the gaming universe." And somebody says off camera, "We're going to be rich." And there's a fascinating conversation about Uru with them joking around. And really, it's a really wonderful scene. So that, I think, is fascinating footage. Moving on, in case you ever wondered, you look at that linking book underneath the seat. I don't think that's an age I want to visit. And then the last thing I want to show are capabilities in Uru that were at least conceptualized in marketing materials, if not fully implemented. So boating was actually going to be a big part of the game, which I did not know. See these beautiful shots. You could also swim. You could even swim underwater for prolonged periods of time. You had a flashlight, so you didn't have to carry fireflies with you. You could have friends on your Relto. And this requires a bit of explanation. This is fascinating all in its own right, this on a player discovery chart. But I had always known, voice chat was going to be part of Uru. What I didn't understand was it was going to be part of solving the actual puzzles. you have to scare the quabs by yelling. So yelling was actually going to be a puzzle mechanic. You could even yawn, as it turns out. Now here's a quick glimpse at the age of Kahlo, which was never officially released. You can see this like stunning concept art of these creatures you could ride. Here's another set of variations on them. Here's one that they really apparently liked because they implemented it in a prototype, which you can play. So this is a screenshot from me playing it on my computer briefly. And then this is the early version of Kahlo. Literally, this is the first version you can see. And yes, you actually do move that little white prismatic shape around. And when you hit the photo cubes, a copy duplicates. So you can only imagine what sort of underlying tech demo they were working on here. And I'll end with just a beautiful view. You can see Kratz Arch in the background. This is from the marketing videos that were never intended for consumers, that were actually part of the pitches to publishers and partners. And so I think it's just sort of, there's a lot of sort of beautiful stuff. And this just scratches the surface. But I'll end it there.
Thank you, Ben. Big round of applause for Ben.
Thank you so much, Ben. That was amazing.
Yeah, so cool. So cool. These and other treasures, like the Dunny toilet, you'll see in the Myst documentary on the big screen where it belongs. Thank you.
I'm glad they put the paper over instead of
Over.
under.
Yeah.
That made me very
Gotta
happy.
be over.
That might have been the puzzle.
Maybe.
Cool. All right. So thank you, Ben. Really, thank you, Ben. Ben's going to lend so much help to the,
Thank you, Ben.
the project, being able to go through all that
Do you have
stuff.
time to answer a couple of questions
Go a
from
couple.
people in the audience?
Okay. And I think in the second hour, we can take a few more questions. Yeah. Okay. So one online and one in the room.
All right, I will. We have a couple from Discord. I'll pick one here from Danny. Will Cyan's current in-production game become part of the documentary as well?
You mean the one that, what if, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't know.
I'm not sure.
Don't know.
I'm not sure.
But the truth is, I would say, I don't know if it's a wishy-washy answer, but in fact, there's nothing I know is absolutely in or out except for Myst and Riven.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say, up until now, I have not been filming I've not been filming recently, but I filmed all the way up through the making and release of Riven. So I've got a ton of that kind of stuff covered. So other than that, I can't say. And in the online, you said... that was the online question.
Yeah, anybody can take
in the
probably
room.
just one from here, maybe two.
One question from Atlanta.
Yeah. Anybody in the room have?
No.
Salvo, yours was the first hand I saw go up.
Thanks. So you just said that you've filmed through the release of Riven, and we all know that lately things in Cyan haven't been that great.
Right.
So are you going to continue filming what's happening right now? Because if the film is going to release anytime soon, it's probably not going to end on a good note. So how are you guys going to handle that part of what Cyan's going through right now?
Well, yet another reason for doing the interviews the way I'm doing them, which is sort of, quote, at the end in a way, is that everyone can tell us what's happening right now and talk about everything else in the context of that. So, yeah, it's pretty, the funny thing about documentaries, too, is especially if it's about living people, is that things never stop happening. So like at what point do you put the pencil down, so to speak, and then put the film up? And usually what happens is at the end, someone will say something, maybe you'll see some you can always put together a scene that sort of gets you up to the current moment, something like that. But let's hope that actually things turn around and it winds up being even better. So, yeah.
All right. I think we have a brief intermission, about 10 minutes, while we get ready for the interviews.
Awesome.
Everybody, use the bathroom, do whatever you need to do. Come back
Use
here.
the Dunny toilet. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody,
Exactly.
so much. This has been a pleasure.
Roughly what percentage do you think the documentary is done?
I would say, I'd love to say 50%, but I'm going to say closer to 33.33%. Maybe 50%. Well, so 47%. 48. Yeah. But basically, the things that remain are to. There's a lot of editing to do. So you've seen some of the scenes, and Joshua's already begun working on a lot of others, and Ben is helping. Editing. here's what I'd like to do, because I know somebody's going to ask when can we hopefully see it. Too, and what I'll say is, I would love to say we're going to screen it here next year, or wherever at next Mysterium. I can't guarantee that, and I'm afraid to even put something down firmly, obviously, because I've been not good about getting that. But I absolutely like substantial progress, significant progress by the next Mysteriums. We could see a lot more. There'll be more than we can even show at that time, but
yeah,
that's what I'd like to get.
I'd also like to say that the project it's a labor of love for both of us, and we really care a lot about making the best possible product possible.
Right. And not just us. I mean, there's Katie and
and the whole team is really committed to finishing this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
So we have a question from the Discord, and I'll get the person over there. What do you think the runtime will be? Are you aiming for a 2-hour-ish documentary or multi-part miniseries?
2 hours documentary. I always, I'm sort of going it out. Sorry. Hello. I do these projects all the time, and that's something we debate all the time, right? How long is it? Is it 20 minutes, 45 minutes, 60 minutes, 90 minutes, 120 minutes, or multi-part? And the way I feel is go for something that's a reasonable length. So, in fact, 90 to 120, I like to say, because if you cut it to 90 and then you say, okay, well, that means that these scenes are not in, and they have to earn their way back in. Right, but that's a great feeling when you can say, no, we need that scene. That scene makes that film much better. That audience is going to appreciate it, and then it goes back in. So, yeah. Basically what we're doing is we call it a feature-length documentary. So that hopefully, by the way, it was really exciting seeing it on a big screen. That's not something we get to do that often, if ever. Let's put your laptop up to your face.
I love the audience participation. That was really cool, too.
Yeah, and so I just like to remind people, again, another reason why it's taking a while, whatever, but we're putting a lot into it. So we're making a film. It's not just a, there's a lot of wonderful, for instance, documentaries on YouTube, but we're going. I work in the theatrical space, as we call it, and so I'm really aiming for it to be something to be seen on the big screen. So, with great music and great sound and all that. Go ahead.
Oh, hi. Well, sorry. You kind of already halfway answered my question. It was about the length of the documentary, but there's another company called Creator VC. I don't know if you're familiar, but they do they did an FPS documentary about video games, and they made it like 4 hours long, and they did another one about aliens, and it was like 5 hours long.
Right.
So I don't know if there's ever going to be a day where we could do like an extended Peter Jackson version of it.
It's so funny you said that, because literally I was about to say Peter Jackson, and I love that too, and I love the bonus features and all that kind of stuff too. So I wouldn't even, absolutely wouldn't rule that out. Yeah, absolutely. So.
Who do you have doing music for the doc?
So hopefully, nothing's guaranteed yet, but I have worked with a composer named Joel Goodman, who has composed hundreds and hundreds of films, many award-winning films, HBO, Sundance winners, stuff like that, including some films that I've worked on. I've been working with Joel for about 35 years, so if he's not sick of me, I would like to hire him again, but...
So I want to grab another question from the Discord, which is, as a former script supervisor, the person is wondering how you manage your footage. Do you make script notes? Do you have a scripty? And P.S., what camera do you use?
I've used a few different cameras over the course of the project, but the one I've used the most is a camera I absolutely love, the Sony FX6. And... as far as footage goes, so I transcribe everything, and in fact, there's a service called rev.com that I've used to transcribe everything for many, many years. Obviously, there's now automated systems that do that too, that are getting there. In fact, even in my editing software, so I use Avid editing software and Premiere. Both Premiere and Joshua use Premiere. Both Premiere and Avid will transcribe now automatically within this program. Not perfectly, but they kind of do all that. And that's the main thing I do as far as.
And I'd like to add that we've been using this tool called Airtable, which has been a great tool to categorize all of the footage that we have and all the transcripts that we have. So there's a bunch of detailed notes on there that talks about how every single footage expresses a certain part of the story of Myst and how that's relevant to the documentary. So we've been doing a lot of extensive note-taking for that.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah.
But thank you for being willing to answer some questions for us. I think at this point it would be a good idea for us to transition to interviews just to make sure that we have enough time for
Great.
that. And I'm sure, Philip, you're going to be here for the rest of the day, right? So
Yeah.
Yep. So feel free to speak to Philip if you have anything else you want to talk about. But for now, let's go into the interview portion just to make sure we have enough time for that.
Yeah, and again, just if we don't connect and we do want to connect, and by the time you go to themystdocumentary.com and you can click contact and reach us that way, and sign up for even if you're just signing up for news updates. That's a great thing to do. Okay.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Annika.
So for the next portion, we are going to transition to some right in this room, interviews. So let's start with Dan. If you're ready to come up and be interviewed. You've been waiting for your turn since Montreal, so it's your turn.
All right. All right. Yeah. Thank you, Joshua. Big hand for
Thank
Joshua.
you very much. Thank you, everybody.
Joshua is now going to be our timekeeper. You have these interviews that we're going to do. I'm going to be interviewing you guys, whoever Annika calls up.
We're going to have fun with this. We're going to do something fun. So I went to the Coca-Cola Museum yesterday, and I got this can. Does anyone... Can we see this? Can we put this on? Yeah, it says Praise Gen.
Praise Gen.
So this is Gen soda.
He would drink Coke, I think.
He would drink Coke Zero. I specifically got Coke Zero. So once the time is up, I will hold up this cup and everyone will say Praise Gen.
All right, and we got 5 minutes on the clock, please, for Dan. Dan, thank you, by the way. Mysterium, you do?
Thank you for coming here.
Pleasure. My pleasure.
So,
here's an interesting thing. What do you think is the very first image you saw when you went to play Myst? Or what in your mind, what do you remember?
Oh man. All right. So let's see. I think I was in 3rd grade. I played it with my dad.
Raise your hand if you played it with a relative. Amazing. Yeah.
I think he's the one that heard about it, and because he knew I liked. I mean, because when I was little, I did like all the learning company games, and like I loved like puzzle games, and he was like, "Oh, there's this really cool game I heard about called Myst. I think we should play it together." And yeah, like we started it up, and like heard the music, and falling through the fissure. We're like, "Oh, this looks so cool." We were just like, we didn't even start by solving puzzles. We were just kind of wandering around the island, looking at everything.
Yeah. Is there a time in your life where you said to yourself, "That's so Myst"?
Quite a few. Man, let's see. That like one of the more interesting ones. I was actually in Dubai last year. Wow. And I was at the top of the Burj Khalifa, and I actually sent a picture looking down just at sites around the city, and someone in the server, it might have been Matt, I can't remember who it was, but they said, that kind of looks like the Survey Island, like the islands, the lagoon from Riven. And I saw it, I was like, wow, I can never unsee that.
Yeah, that is really awesome. One of the places I've noticed was I was visiting Point Reyes, Reyes, in San Francisco, and I was just like, this is so Riven, the walkways and all that kind of stuff. When you meet somebody who has not played Myst or the other games, isn't of this community, let's say, how do you describe to them what it is?
Man, I mean, I think I point out that it's really not like other games. I mean, I guess there have been Myst like since then, but I'd say it's really about it's about a journey. It's about exploring. There's not like any, there's no combat. There's no like chase sequences. It's all like it's a different world. And I mean, I would even say, like when I played Riven, I wouldn't say I'm playing Riven. I would say I'm going to Riven. Like I tell people basically it's just sort of an immersive world where you can just explore.
Yeah, totally. Do you have a favorite character in the series?
Favorite character? That's a tough one. I mean, my mind keeps jumping to crap, what's his name? Robin's character from Abduction.
Oh yeah. What is his name?
Cecil Williams, yes, because he's just hilarious.
Williams. Cecil
Like
Williams.
I could tell Robin was just having so much fun with that character.
Yeah. Yeah, it was interesting to have someone who could be overtly cranky.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yep.
Do you design games or anything? Or
I dabble.
you dabble? Oh yeah, interesting. So when you start to dabble, what's in your mind? What do you like to make?
So I have not done like a finished or an original game yet. I mean, I learned Unity. I mean, I'm still like a novice in it, but I've been very, very slowly designing a puzzle platformer that maybe in the next 15 years I'll finish.
Oh, right on. Can you tell us more about it? What would you?
Sure. Yeah, it's like because the technical side is more my strong point, and I've done some level design and things, but like I can't draw. So I played Thomas Was Alone maybe, I don't know, 10 years ago. And I was like, okay, this guy, he was a software developer. He didn't really have any art skills. And he made this minimalist game where the characters are literally just rectangles. And I was like, the design is heavily inspired by that. It's all just like geometric shapes, but that like determines their movement patterns. And yeah, very basic art style, but more involved game mechanics.
Yeah, that's very cool. How are we doing on time? Oh, 30 seconds. What would you like to tell people for 30 seconds? What's your takeaway? How has Myst changed your life?
Oh man, it just made me look at games differently because I think because I had played like Doom, like everybody else. But yeah, Myst, it really it made me look at games differently. It gave me this amazing community. I joined Mysterium first time 2017, and I was on staff by like a year later. And yeah, it's just helped me meet some amazing people and. Yeah, like I actually had, now ex-girlfriend, but met a girlfriend through it.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
All right.
All right. Does anyone want to, now that Dan has broken the ice, Ace, you're next.
All right. Excellent. Your enthusiasm matches my own, so I appreciate that.
Great to be here.
It's great to be here. How long have you been coming to Mysterium?
Since 2022.
2022. Do you remember your first impression?
Very fun, very good crowd. I love it here. I love all of you.
And so tell people your name, for those who don't know you.
I am Ace. I am a mangry, as you can see.
And those who don't know what that is, say people are watching, they don't know anything. In fact, we have some newcomers here, and some people are even new to Myst. So how would you describe you to them? Where you come from?
I am an artist from Wisconsin. I do make some game assets and stuff once in a while. Mostly just do furry art, honestly.
And what is your first memory of Myst? Playing. Was Myst your entry, or was
the VR remake? Yes.
The VR remake. Interesting.
I really liked it. However, my first thing that really stuck out to me was going into the room with the dentist chair, turning on the star projection, and immediately getting such bad vertigo that I had to quit the game. And then I learned how to speedrun it, so I could actually beat it.
Interesting. So do you time your speed runs?
Yeah, I was actually, I believe, the first one to submit an all-pages run on speedrun.com.
Wow. And what was your time?
Long.
Long.
I don't remember specifically. It was almost half an hour.
Oh my goodness, almost half an hour. What's your... same question I asked Dan, sort of like when you talk to other people who don't know what any of this stuff is, how do you describe it?
Honestly, it's kind of just something you have to experience to really get. It's just a very immersive experience, and I don't know, it's kind of hard to put into words.
Yeah. It's so interesting that the VR was your first experience, because that's really cool.
I'm a bit recent, but...
Yeah. So is there a place inside the VR game that you remember fondly? Or
probably, weirdly, I think Akinar's place in Channelwood. I just remember picking up all the little tools off the desk and just like swinging them around like swords and just like being really disappointed I couldn't take them back out with me.
Yeah.
And then running over to Cyrus's room and stealing his cheese and running away with it.
And the Mangreve, tell us about this character and your attachment to it.
It's a species from Myst 4, if you're not familiar, the little monkey guys in Haven. My first year I came here, it was bookended by Denver the next weekend, but I couldn't stay for that. But I'm like, I still want to bring a fursuit. And then it was fun to wear around the con, but it wasn't Myst related. I felt like it was a little bit weird. So when I got back, I started working on something, a bit more on topic.
Interesting. I must say, it was something that I found interesting and exciting when I came to Mysterium the first time too. Was that it wasn't Myst, it wasn't all Myst specific, because that was my entry point to the game and stuff. And I did not know very much about Uru, but have since played through the whole thing and I'm blown away by it. What would you, if you were making a documentary? What would be the thing you would want to show people? Either capture for yourself or show people about...
I personally have always found just the behind-the-scenes stuff the most fascinating to me. I love getting that peek behind the curtain, seeing just, like, all the love and work and effort that goes into projects.
Yeah.
It's just, like, I feel like that deserves a lot of emphasis, personally.
Yeah. Here's something I like to ask creative people specifically is... I feel like non-creative people, or people who haven't yet opened themselves up to the creativity I think they have inside them, but for whatever reason they're reluctant to, don't understand necessarily what the creative process is. So what's something that people don't understand about the creative process that you can share? Your particular creative process.
Sometimes it just hits, and I don't know. It's very fickle. It's not something I can just do on command. The stars got to be aligned for this sacrifice,
Interesting. Can you tell us an example of that? Something where that happens.
Well, I tend to get a pretty big motivational boost post convention, and in the case of this specific fursuit, actually, I remember I got back from Denver. I was on the plane there, drawing up plans for the head. I had my roommate, after he picked me up from the airport, run me by Joanne Fabrics. I got home, immediately started working on this. Knocked it out in about 2.5 weeks, and then I'm sitting here for the rest of the year until Spokane, like, okay, what now?
Yeah, that's interesting. But in terms of an idea, like, can you remember when a particular idea struck you, like what you were doing? And
honestly, it tends to just be at random. It's usually kind of when I've got my brain shut off doing other things, and then just a thought kind of pings into my head and it won't leave me alone.
Yeah. Praise Gan. Praise God. Thank you for sharing. Thank you.
Murray, your turn.
Big hand for Murray as he approaches the stage. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you all again for all your support here.
Oh, we love having you here.
I love your hat.
Yes.
So tell us about the hat and tell us about you. So you play a character. Sorts.
Yes. Mula, Myst Online, lives again.
And so again,
lives again.
For those who have absolutely no idea, what is that?
Well, it basically was somewhat an expansion they wanted to do with Cyan many years ago, and they wanted to do something more online.
An expansion of Uru.
Expansion of Uru.
Right.
And so they put this, rather than the offline where you play, they wanted to incorporate community type things. And so there were that phase, I guess, of gaming was starting back then. And I, of course, played Myst when it first came out. I'm not going to say how old I am. But my kids played with me, and they liked it. But
how old were they at the time?
Let's see. When Myst first came out, they were little toddlers. But later on, I'd play again with them. And then when the new releases come out, they really got into it because they love solving puzzles just as much as Dad and things like that. And I think that helped them maybe a little bit in real life as well. And so when the online communities came out, I was totally new to it. And first time it came out, I was on there, and of course, unfortunately, it didn't last long. And back in those days, we didn't have the internet as well as we do now, as speedy as it is, so I lost touch with it for many years until several years ago, I found out that it was back online again. And I thought, well, that sounds interesting, so I got an avatar, I got online and went through the puzzles again and everything else. But I started meeting a lot of wonderful new people. And hi out there, by the way, to all you guys. I know you're watching. So we've had events, like music events. We'll have every day it seems like there's something going on in the cavern. And these avatars get together, and they're from all over the world. We got folks from Germany, Poland, Australia, Brazil, some folks in South America, the Philippines, and Japan, and on and on and on. It's like, wow, this is expanding horizons for many of us. And so I got to know a lot of these people, get to find cultures, and we were able to work together and solve puzzles together. Door runs are a big thing that if you're new when you come in, you want to collect a borrow piece for your Relto Island, you need people to help you out with that, for instance. So that was design of the online to help break the ice. It's a lot like team building exercises. And so I thought that was interesting because I was new to chat and everything else and how to do that. And I got through it. And it was through a help of a lot of these same people that I met. When you come to the cavern, all of us are friendly. We don't judge. We don't talk politics, religion, or anything like that. We just get together and have fun. And that was the whole idea behind us coming together.
That's awesome. That's really beautiful. You said an interesting thing. You said that puzzle solving, your kids learning how to puzzle solve with you, help them in real life. Tell us about that.
Well, give a great example, for instance, when I'm working on my car, a problem. I'm trying to figure it out myself sometimes. I sometimes will take it to a mechanic with all the electronics. But some things my dad taught me to do. And so there are ways to pass on to your children. And puzzle solving is a big thing in life, whether it's working on your car, working on a project at work, trying to solve a crisis in real life. And my kids inherited the knack from their parents because my wife is an engineer. And my degree was in mathematics and I was in computers. And so they got that knack, I think, from both families. And, you could see in real life when they get something and they've accomplished it, it's that look in their eyes like, hey, I did this, it works, that kind of thing. So I think that helps them in real life. And I think it helps most people, when you can do something and you're not judged about failing, that you try again and you finally learn how to do it. As a mathematician, for us, it's like the more math we do, we develop in here a mythology, if you will, on problem solving and how to approach. And I think it helps with a lot of things in life. So. Hey, praise
Murray,
Him.
thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Great having you.
Thanks. Thank you very much.
Is there anyone here who is attending their first Mysterium who might be Amy?
Thank you.
So I missed that. Did she say this is your first time?
This is my first time. I'm
Welcome.
here with my sister in the back, Anna. You may know her as the Wark, the other fursuiter from the weekend. So, first one, hopefully first of many.
Wow. So what convinced you to take on this adventure?
It was actually also Anna. So our little brother, who unfortunately can't be in attendance because he is quite literally trapped on an island right now, was the one who first wanted to come, and he talked to her about it, and she wanted to come to last year, but we weren't able to make it.
Is this an island that there's no linking off the island?
Sadly, no. I wish, but no. And then she talked to me, and it was like, oh, yeah, no, I think we could drive to Atlanta. So, yeah, we made it work. And
How far did you drive? Where did you come from?
I drove 15 hours. I live on Mackinac Island in Michigan, kind of in between the Upper and Lower Peninsula. She drove 11 hours because she's more Metro Detroit area.
Amazing. Who else traveled more than 1 or 2 hours? Who took long? Oh my goodness! Yes, people come from far and wide.
That's such a cool thing.
So, what do you do back in on Mackinac Island?
So I actually work in water filtration. So the Dunny toilet was very fascinating to me. I have been curious about waterworks in Dunny. So, kind of thinking through that, but yeah.
And what was there a game you remember being the first of this? Like I said, people come in on different games. So was there any of those?
So I think the first game that our dad actually played with us was Real Myst, but the one that always sticks in my mind was playing Exile on the PS2. And it was Adana. Like, whenever I thought of Exile, because I just recently replayed through the games, whenever I thought of Myst and Exile and all of that, it was always Adana that stuck in my head because it's such a gorgeous age.
Yeah, Adana is one of my favorite ages in the entire all the games. Again, I ask, how do you describe? Let's say this. What is it you love the most? And then if somebody asks you, what is this thing you're into? Why did you go to that place? What is that? what do you tell them?
Why I came here, so Myst has been a big part of my life for a while. I mean, we played it as kids or watched our dad play it. But just the visuals of it, I think, is what really gets me. And being able to come here with a whole bunch of people who also enjoy it is so cool. And yeah, no, I'm trying to think. No, it's just
working in.
Game.
It's interesting because, when I ask, one of my favorite things is in fact, I even had occasionally considered titling the documentary "That's So Myst." I think when I joined Flickr way back when, I thought, well, I had to create a group called "That's So Myst," and there are groups online where with Reddit and Flickr and other places where you can see people posting pictures of something that looks like something from the games.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, when I started the film, I was working with a friend of mine, a cinematographer, Kyle. And we were walking all over Spokane, and I said, let's just film things that look like Myst. That'll be fun for the documentary. Well, there's a valve, and in Spokane, there's a dam, and there's all this waterworks, cool stuff.
Yeah.
And Kyle, who's much younger than me, said, well, actually, every time you say "That's So Myst," he's like, I just think that's just like a video game.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized, in a way, that's how much what Myst did first has permeated games. So in working in waterworks, you must see a lot of Myst-esque things. Yeah,
very much so. It's a lot of redirecting water, flicking a bunch of big chunky switches, turning a bunch of levers, setting things in certain ways to make them work. I would like to at some point make an unwritten game, and actually my job has given me a lot of good ideas for puzzles in terms of just things I encounter while working in waterworks. So it is. My job is very Myst, and I'm on an island for it. So
amazing. That is amazing. What are some things we might see or get to do in this game of yours when it's made?
So I'm kind of chipping away at puzzles that might be interesting. In terms of an overarching story, I have a couple of little ideas, but I haven't really come up with anything too big. But I really like the idea of putting something with I think it's Carillons, the big bell towers. Yeah. I would love to do sort of I don't know if I can make it sound-based due to the more verbal nature of it, but a puzzle involving a Carillon and maybe actuators, because that's something that's big in my job as well, as actuators and them not working.
Tell it, what's an actuator like?
So actuators are so it's like pneumatic controls for valves, and it almost looks like a bunch of flute keys that you push down and it turns the valve. But if there's issues with the air exchange or you aren't getting enough pressure, you have to do certain things to get the valve to turn, either not using the actuator or changing it in certain ways in order to get it to work. So figuring out ways to kind of turn that into a fun puzzle where you maybe have to find objects that will get you to turn the valve if the actuator's not working, that kind of stuff. So
That's very cool. So it sounds like you appreciate your world and your job and the equipment and things like that at an aesthetic level, right?
Yes,
Whereas
I would say so.
I actually started out in engineering, and so I understand that a lot of engineers don't think that way. In fact, don't even like that.
Really?
They might say, well, it's not about that. It's about, how it works or whatever. But they don't want, I don't care what color it is or what it smells like, Gen is about to be praised.
Oh.
Just tell the engineers what should they care about the beauty of what they do.
Most definitely.
Okay. Thank you for sharing.
So for our next interview victim, I would like to hear from Drew, one of our co-chairs.
All right, Drew,
You've been
give it up for Drew.
selected.
Let's go, Drew.
And Joshua, thank you for being so unyielding in your work here.
He's impressive, isn't he? Honestly.
Yeah. What's your first memory of and was Myst the first game that you came to, or was it?
Yeah, so I think there are two, I would say. One was sitting in the basement with my grandfather at his computer, and we were sitting next to each other, humming the notes to try to figure out how to get into Selenetic, just standing there and be like, oh, remember, do, 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 and then we turn around and be like, is that right? Is it not? And then we ended up purchasing Riven. And actually, the box came with a duplicate disc 4, I believe, and we somehow had to get in touch with like Broderbund or whoever to get a replacement disc that was missing, so we could actually play the game. But eventually, we tried playing it as a family. It was a bit hard for us, so we had to, run out to Staples, buy ink cartridges for our printer so we could print the GameSpot guide on how to play it, and it was a whole thick stack, and I would remember trying to understand it and just eventually riding all the rides because they were free. So.
Do you have a sense of what year this would have been? Around 98, it sounds like.
Yeah, probably I would put it in that range. Yeah.
Very cool. What's your favorite of all the different ways you can enjoy Myst and Riven? What is it that strikes you the most?
I think Riven really spoke to me because the brothers did such a good job at pushing to make sure the puzzles were integrated into the lore and feel of the world. And it really redefined my take on puzzle games in the years since. So if I find a game that I play and the puzzles are inherently arbitrary, I'm not drawn to it. And thank you to the Cyan for ruining my experience with puzzle games in all of the years since. Thank you guys. So,
is there a way that having the experience of having played these games or something you've taken from the games that you use in life outside the game?
That's a great question.
Do you believe there is a life outside the game?
Oh, obviously. No, I think, gosh, it's fun to think back to like, when did I start doing all of this with Mysterium all those years ago, and how driven I was by trying to recreate puzzle elements in the Myst Second Life community at the time, back in like 2010. And I think it did give me an interest in logic, critical thinking, and puzzle solving, which is something to this day I use all the time in my work, right? It's not just about understanding a workflow, it's about understanding the components that reach a goal and how can you use them flexibly. And I do attribute that, I think, to playing Myst so much as a kid.
Yeah, totally. And I would also say patience.
Right.
Although I feel like you have to have had patience to have played the games or to have stuck with the games. But we had a little technical thing you guys were all working on earlier, and that was totally a puzzle solving thing, and you just gotta, and again, something you learn in engineering or elsewhere, it's like you just gotta focus, focus on the problem. But they also give you the confidence to know you can solve it. Yeah. You can solve something that seems impossible.
Absolutely.
At the beginning. So tell us about your connection to Mysterium.
Mysterium.
Yeah.
So I always like to lead with the fact that I have never attended Mysterium as an attendee. I have only ever been on the committee. So I think it would have been between 2010 and 2011 when things were tapering off with the previous. From what I recall at this point, I was 17. Somehow found my way through the forums that there were some folks trying to come together and make their own Mysterium at that point because there was no promise of a 2011. And it turned out they were local, right? I'm in New England. I was getting ready to attend college in Boston, and everyone was all there. And it worked out. We created I think we were calling it the Rebel Mysterium back then. And somehow in that time, things kind of formulated again, and we kind of restructured it, and it came into a form where we could continue it today. And I loved it. I thought it was a lot of fun. I came in there, I was like, let's live stream things. I know livestream.com. Let's do this thing. Let's do that thing. And here we are in 2025 with an amazing following. And it's so cool.
Yeah, and lots of new people. Each year.
Right? Every year, it's amazing. So,
for those who don't understand any of this, what do you? For instance, I'll say that it's a little bit hard to do with the documentary in a way. But like one thing I hope the documentary will do is help people who don't know about this world or know about these emotions or these pleasures you can have by playing the games, we'll learn what it's all about. Why do so many people devote so much of their life or so much of their mental space even to these worlds? What would you tell people?
I think I would tell them it is worth seeing things through to the end technically, but also don't be afraid to reach out to the community because we are here, we are very strong, and we are very close. And I think it is that community that really keeps us moving forward. I don't know if that really answers your question, but to me, I think it comes down to the community. So
right on.
Yeah. Praise God.
Well done. Thank you, Drew.
Thank you, Philip. Seriously.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So we have time for one more interview, and then we'll give the rest of the time to Philip to kind of wrap us up.
All right.
So I'm going to say, Kefrith, you're up.
All right. Let's give Kefrith a nice round of applause for
Thank you.
Having what my grandmother would call the chutzpah to come up here and share. That's a Dunny word, by the way. I don't know how much people know. I think we were talking about this yesterday. Kefrith is in some of my earliest footage. In fact, the very first Mysterium I attended was 2017.
Yes.
And there was an unconference that was really a wonderful experience. And I don't know if you remember at all what you were talking about. Who were we talking about? You were talking about with the other families there. What was the Joshua knows? What was? You're talking about playing with your family, yeah, and things like that. So tell us about your first experience playing with Myst.
Yeah, a huge part of my early experiences with Myst was playing it cooperatively with my parents and my younger brother in the mid to late 90s when we were school age kids, but we played it as the first 3 games as a family activity, and I've continued playing the later other Cyan games since then cooperatively with my brother, and as well as other games that we find out about that we both think sound interesting, often Myst-esque, but we still play as cooperative, even though single-player games, the two of us playing cooperatively.
That's awesome. And what was it about the games that got you so interested in them? What kept you hooked?
In the long term, it's partly that in other areas of my life as well, I have an interest in seeing where things used to be and what's left of them, which fits perfectly with the Denis Cavern and other ages. But aside from that, I like the puzzles, but I love the lore and the aesthetic, and above all, and since I've been coming regularly to Mysterium, the community. Oh, and also, I definitely want to say that Myst community and ideas definitely a huge part of a lot of my motivation to do a lot of the creative stuff I do.
And you make amazing crafts.
Thank you.
So tell us about how does it feel when you're working on most recently one of the things you made most recently was the Dunny bingo card. So as you're working on that, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking what I think would be funny and entertaining that other people would also think would be funny and or entertaining.
Yeah. Succeeded.
Thank you.
What would you tell other people who are outside the worlds of Cyan, outside of Myst and Riven and Uru and all that? Why is it that there's a community so devoted to this that bonds around these worlds?
I've honestly never thought about it in those exact terms. I'm not sure, but I'm extremely grateful that that is the case. I'm honestly not sure how I would answer that.
What is this? Something you would like to share that people don't know?
That's another question I was not prepared for, but something that they don't know about me.
Well, about you or about the world of the games themselves.
That's a better question.
Yeah.
Well, one thing that's been referenced in general terms already, but I know I've been looking at a lot of some of the behind-the-scenes footage from the Video Game History Foundation videos that were released on their website, and there's some interesting little tidbits of behind-the-scenes things that if you really look closely, one example was when there was a test footage of Rand walking through Gen's office scene, double checking like where John Custon would be walking, and in the test walkthrough, instead of holding Gen's pipe, he's holding a slightly open tape measure. So I made a meme saying, I don't understand how he enjoys this thing.
If you could go into these worlds, where would you like to go, and what would you do there?
Well, in the original Myst, I like Channel Wood because I like the trees and nature feel of it, and tree houses are cool. But overall, one of my favorites that I always come back to mentally is Adana and the Squeeze and everything, and also Haven. I guess I like all the Nature Ages aesthetic very much.
Yeah. Especially like when those are great examples. I think when you play with headphones, it's beautiful, but it's also in a way it also helps you solve the puzzles. Especially in Adana where you can hear things around you.
Yeah. Well, one other thing I can say about it's related to audio is that one of my favorite original Myst soundtrack tracks spooked me when I was little. The 4-chamber theme.
What is it? What is that?
The 4-chamber theme going down from the dock into the 4-chamber.
Interesting. So you're saying the score of the game itself was spooky.
The music in that area spooked me when I was little, but now I really like that song as an adult.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I found that so spooky. And we're about to praise Gen. I can do one more. What would you tell Gen if you were sitting in front of Gen right now?
I don't think I'd stick around long enough to decide.
That's a good answer. That's good. Kefrith, thank you so much. Big round of applause for Kefrith. Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So that's all the time that we have for interviews. Can we give the people who are brave enough to be interviewed one more hand just for everyone? Yes. Thank you. And then with our last 3 or 4 minutes, Philip and Joshua, do you have any final thoughts or any final words?
Come join me. First of all, thank you, Anna-Kat.
Thank you so much.
Give Anna-Kat a round of applause for being our MC, our Don Pardo, as it were. And again, thank you for everyone who shared today. And I just thank every one of you who attend, and every one of you who, since I've been here, I've only been here a couple of days. So many of you have come up to me and said you were either backers or you were just interested in the project or things like that. I really appreciate that deeply. I mean, it really. So thank you for that. Thank you for all of your support for the documentary over these years. Again, it's immense. It's immensely helpful. I can't emphasize quite clearly enough how hard it is at times. So it's really nice to have that, and we get who was saying that they get re-energized after the convention to go home. We're like, do more. So I totally feel the same way.
It's really awesome to get to meet other fans of this game series and connect with them and learn about what they're interested in and what they like to see, because it makes me as a an editor sitting in my editing hole, I get to open up a lot more, and I get to meet people like you guys. And I think it's really awesome that there are events like these that can bring people together like this. So I'm very grateful to be here.
We'll try to raise money to get Joshua out of the editing hole and get him. He's maybe
I'd like to be in a nice
bay. Usually we call it a bay, but the hole is it's sad.
I'd like to be in an editing cube.
Oh, that'd be fantastic.
That would be fun.
An editing tesseract.
An editing cleft.
Yeah.
Yeah. I realized the moment I entered the editing cleft that the film would be continued as planned.
Bring me the memes. I also want to give a big thank you to Katie, who's out there. Katie, I know you're listening, and to Ben, who joined us, and to every one of you online who's watching from afar. I know that it's an interesting thing about the pandemic. At first, it was sad that we couldn't get together for 1 or 2 years, and then we did it online. And the fact that did bring sort of one benefit, the fact that you can join online is helpful, and we really appreciate you being out there, and hope you'll contact us and let us know how you're doing. I'd like to thank all the barbecue of Atlanta for feeding us.
I'd like to thank the Coca-Cola Museum for letting me make this.
Yes.
That was pretty cool.
Thank you to the committee very much for your support year in and year out for us, and I know for all the fans who come here. So a big round of applause, please, for the Mysterium committee. And everyone here at the Hilton Buckhead. So, shout out to whoever named a place Buckhead. I think that was kind of fun.
Mr. Buckhead himself.
The documentary will come out, and
it will continue.
It's something that I have just to address just my devotion to it. Why did I get so committed to this? Look, I said when I played the game in 1993. I did not imagine that it would be resonating with me. I didn't even know there would be a year 2025, right? You just don't think that way as a kid. So, but when I saw the guys and who made it, what struck me, I think, was I didn't know it at the time. I was actually just starting a career in independent filmmaking as an indie filmmaker, as we called it at the time. And it struck me, it's like, whoa, these guys are like, it wasn't a movie, it was a game, but it was the same thing. It was the indie spirit. And I think that's actually a huge part of what this convention is about. And, all the wonderful works of art that are made back there, the costumes people are wearing and things like that. And so I think the independent spirit is always something that isn't quite as appreciated as it should be, I think. And I would dare say that now more than ever, it's not necessarily being appreciated. And so I hope to celebrate everyone at Cyan that's worked on the film over all these years, and all of us who have played the game around the world. I mean, I have one image in the game, one image for the film that has struck me that I'm excited to get in eventually, which is almost a picture of the globe. And imagine, lines, golden lines, almost like flight paths coming into Spokane. And these are the technologies that were made. So the Macintosh computer, the CD-ROM comes from somewhere else, different things come in. And even books, like Jules Verne novels come flying into Spokane and landing in Rand's mobile home where he lived, where he was working with his brother Robin. And them, doing things with these things in their magical workshop, so to speak, of Cyan itself, and bringing in Rawa and other people, and Chuck Carter and all those. Then, though, flying out of Spokane, millions of lines, golden lines, of the copies of the game of Myst going out to all the different people who would play them all over the world. So one lands in Australia, where Riem is, and another goes to Denmark, and another goes to wherever, and one goes to Washington D.C. and Maryland, where I was.
Goes to Sunsoft in Japan.
Yeah. Yes. Absolutely. And just the idea that so many people were touched, and then it doesn't stop there, because from every one of those places, those people take that game in. Their lives are changed by that. and they do something, and some maybe not necessarily literally making games. Most of the people don't, but they might go into engineering. They might go to work with waterworks and have a joy for that. They might be doing all kinds of different things, and then magical lines of productivity and art and inspiration flying out from every one of those places, all around and around. And then generation after generation after generation. The last thing I'll say is I was so blown away. When I played Myst, it was a solo experience for me, even though other members of my family played it. They played it on their own. And I remember going to film Rand at one of the PAX game conventions. And I was interviewing people in line as they were waiting to get autographs. Now, Rand had said to me at the beginning, before they opened the doors and let people in, Rand said, you're probably going to be done in about an hour because I don't think there's going to be a lot of people coming for you to interview. And I was like, no, I think there's going to be more than that. Well, sure enough, for 3 days straight, there was never a break in the line. People just kept, and people would wait for a long time. And you know how it is. Sometimes you've been some of those people. And I started talking to them and was shocked how again and again and again said, well, I played with my grandfather. I played with my mother. I played whatever, all different things. My brothers, and then they've grown up, and Katie tells this story. I think Katie's got 4 generations now of people in her family who've played Myst together. So one young girl even said, I've actually just texted my dad and told him I'm here and I'm looking at Rand, and the dad sent back pictures he had taken when she was young of her journal, that she had written in her journal. It was a very beautiful thing. So again, just to say, not just through geography, but through generations. These games have unbelievable power that I know Rand and Robin, they do appreciate it, but they don't. There's a certain magnitude to it that they don't. And they've even said that to me, that when I tell them, there's a lot of people, someone told us this, someone told us that, someone told us that. They're just like, really? Wow. It just never stops. And their humility, frankly, is so inspiring to me and so wonderful. So, yeah, that's what I would just say. Thank you. I'm full of gratitude, and I hope to sort of honor the dedication and the inspiration of everyone who made the game and all of us who play it.
Thank you so much. I think that's a perfect note to end both this session and the content portion of our convention. So let's give a big hand to Philip Shane and Joshua Ryan.
Thank you very much.